Good evening, Steemidizens. I'm Sir Cork, your host, and tonight we're kicking off a brand new show that I've never done before, and you've never heard before, and we've never seen before, called the YouAreHOPE Foundation Transparent Town Hall. Welcome to it. This is where we're going to talk about the weekly business of the YouAreHOPE Foundation, which is the world's first, as far as we know, Steam-exclusive, blockchain-transparent, community love and generosity-fueled, worldwide humanitarian aid organization. And what we do here is provide basic human fundamental needs to people in impoverished countries and in great need, dire circumstances around the world. The kind of things we've done so far since we kicked off in October include the following things. We have done food, clothing, shoes, seeds, hygiene supplies, school supplies, medical supplies in 7 countries. So a little background and a little history. First of all, let me check in and see if everyone can hear me. Patrice and Sarge, I see that you're in the listening room. So in a couple of seconds after the latency clears, can either one of you give me a thumbs up that I'm on the air with you? I know I'm recording, so this will all go down in history either way. Looks like Patrice is typing with a thumbs up. Great, so we're on the air live. If you want to talk to me tonight, what you'll need to do is jump over into the show control booth room that I'm sitting in the SteemStar Network Discord, where we're broadcasting from, graciously using airwaves and space provided by one of my projects to another one of my projects. So where should I begin? I can give you a little history of YouAreHOPE. I can give you a little history of myself. I can give you a little history of SteemStar Network and how they all fit together, including myself. Or I can start to answer questions. People are coming into the room. Hi, Safik. Hi, Sarge. Hi, Patrice. Patrice is another top witness who has a show right after this one in 1 hour's time, which is called Trash Talk. There's an image for it there in the chat room. That's about steam cleaners and the Spaminators. I'm kind of just rambling around. This is like the good old days when I would do Monday Night Minnow School on MSP Waves, and I didn't really have a plan when I started the show, but they always finished with a bang. I just came on the air tonight, and I'm going to do this every week, to talk with you, the community, about the matters that matter to the YouAreHOPE Foundation. So let's start at the beginning. The YouAreHOPE Foundation is a charity organization, plain and simple, that serves our fellow humans around this big old wet, green, dirty, brown, blue, muddy rock we live on together called Earth. And what we do is, with the power of Steemidizens like you, we get together and build a network of people on the ground in a country that's just devastated economically or ravaged by a storm, like Puerto Rico and the hurricane, or Venezuela and the whole disaster with their finances down there. Then we find people who are in those areas that are here on Steam, and we provide them with funding that's done through fundraisers and posts and events and contests and all kinds of things, where we bring the money in from you guys that we love so much, the donors, and we actually give it to agents on the ground. Now, that's a risky proposition. There's a lot of scams and theft and things that we face. So we vet these people, and as we go and build our group, there's over 500 people in the YouAreHOPE Discord membership list now. As we grow and build our group, we are learning about these people, and we're seeing what they already are doing on their own. And when we see people who are copiously documenting their project, it's like a Kickstarter situation. We're actually actively scouting for people to give money to, but we're looking for people who are already doing it, if that makes any sense. Another thing we're looking for is to be able to maximize a minimum amount of donations, because we don't make a lot of money. We're not wealthy. And if you look at the wallet, I think it's under $5,000 total, including its Steam power. So liquid, we're not rich. But we're able to do a lot. And the way we do that is we maximize the income that we receive by making sure that if we give, say, 10 SBD away, what we do with that is we look at the situation and decide how to apply it. 10 SBD might go to one person and buy them lunch at a medium restaurant, right? 10 SBD in the hands of an 18-year-old Venezuelan like my co-founder, Malos 10, Rini, down in San Cristobal, Venezuela. 10 SBD was enough last October to feed 30 homeless people lunch for a day. And that's sort of where the history began. Back in October, I was in PAL and MSP, a moderator, and I had built and formed MSP Waves. had some political fallout with other leadership in that group and chose to leave. That's part of the transparency of the creation of this group. My history here on the platform was strong and illustrious. Before that, I was already a witness. I was already a senior mod, or a mod, not senior, but a mod in the largest group in the entire Steam ecosystem at the time. Helped to get that way from its earliest, 11th day of existence to 5,000 members. Worked my ickly fingers to the bone, came out of there in this very giving and generous mood, but left there in a bit of a spat and angry. Well, I had met someone there who touched my life, and that's Rennie, Malos10. Malos10 is his username. And we had done this thing where I gave him the 10 SBD, and he fed the homeless people, and he did it all. He took the pictures, and he did the film, and he made the post, and it was amazing. We felt so good, we did it again. And we formed YouAreHOPE. And we took it out, tried to scale it up. We've been doing that for 4 months. We launched on October 15th of 2017 on World Food Day. Not World Hunger Day, but World Food Day, and I said it wrong for a little while. World Food Day is a day to recognize world hunger, and that's the day that Steam Cebu and Steam Philippines were hosting a lunch for 150 orphans, where they provided them with shoes and some other basic supplies and meals, hot meals. These, not orphans per se, but some were orphans, some were just underprivileged children from the neighboring villages around the city in the Philippines, which has tremendous unemployment and tremendous differences between its poverty and its wealthy, and no significant middle ground. So they did this project, and we contributed a significant amount of money to that. And that really was the kickoff. And then from there, we've just been going forward, meeting people, building networks, finding out about opportunities, having someone come into a room in our server and say they couldn't find agriculturally correct heirloom reproducible seeds, non-GMO, to send to Puerto Rico for the hurricane-ravaged victims there that needed to plant new agricultural systems. Well, I happen to have been a homesteader and off-gridder for many, many years, and I knew where to buy seeds that they needed. So I made a purchase from my PayPal account, reimbursed myself later from the donation, and the donation in turn paid for quickly getting 10,000 seeds in the hands of a steam citizen named Nietzsche, who then in turn put them into a freight cargo container and sent them to Puerto Rico with her husband, who personally delivered them and took pictures. So the pictures I keep mentioning are an important aspect of all of this work. In 7 countries now, Nigeria and Ghana and Philippines, Sri Lanka, Venezuela, Puerto Rico, United States, Canada once, I think. Actually, it might be more countries than I thought. We've done work where we've provided donations to steam citizens to do things. Hundreds and hundreds of children and orphans have been helped, provided with food, shoes, clothing, hygienic school supplies. Hundreds and hundreds of adults have been helped, some of them living on cardboard mats outside hospitals on the sidewalk in Venezuela, waiting for care while they're dying. It's very, very serious. It's very important. It's very heartwarming to be a part of the team that makes it happen and the community that loves it enough to make it possible. So here we are on our first episode of the YouAreHOPE Transparent Town Hall. I'm your host, Sir Cork. It's 8 minutes after the hour, and I've kind of introduced what we're here for. There are some great guests in the audience. I see Safik and Sarge and Patrice are still with me, and Yo Sundoni has come in. I'm going to have to set my drink down and click things to give you the role that you need in our server to be able to move around and exist. There you are. Now you're an audience member. Welcome. So please join us in the listening room. If you're listening elsewhere, stay there. That's fine, because those feeds are usually better than the one in Discord. You can listen to this show on Twitch TV, YouTube Live, SteemStar.net, or your own player with the RTMP settings that are available. We like VLC player. It's free on all platforms. And all that information is on SteemStar.net, as well as the show schedule. It's a day or two behind on updates. I think a show or two are missing from the schedule, but lots of great shows to catch on SteemStar. But here we are talking about YouAreHOPE. So, Sarge, you're saying some things in chat. I had to remember which neighborhoods to stay away from. Some can be dangerous. Where was that that you're speaking of? Probably Philippines, because you were Marine, and thus sort of Marine, naval. They're very... okay, we're just being silly. Okay, so If there's any questions about You Are Hope, we'll answer them on this show. If there's any requests that I'm not aware of for services in the world that we can effectively be effective helping with, then we will talk about those. We will talk with the community about decisions that we have to make and why we make them. Sometimes we'll ask you for input on how to make them. I think that there'll be a lot to talk about as we progress. This episode tonight is actually supposed to be the second. Last week was supposed to be the first, and right before this show is the Inquisition with Nathan Nevarez, which is in Narvaez, and you can get his name from my show posts. But Nathan does a show in Spanish called The Inquisition for the Spanish community. He's a Steam witness. And then me, and then Patrice, who is a Steam witness, doing her trash talk show about steam cleaners and spaminators. So with the three of us in a row, we were supposed to start last week. Well, I have to be transparent and say, working 40 and 50 international hours a day, sleeping never, eating very little, and currently drinking a rum and coke for dinner with you here on the radio, I have to say, I'm tired. And I slept through the show. My premiere show, their premiere shows, I hadn't finished getting Patrice set up yet, so she wasn't able to actually effectively connect to the radio in the way that we needed her to. And so I'd like to thank the team of Nathan and Patrice and Top K-Pop who swooped in my absence to get those shows on the road. Many of you may have caught them last week. I'm grateful to all of you for working together. Teamwork makes the Steam dream work, and that's a perfect example. The example that we have here before us now is for the teamwork of the Steam community to touch and change lives all over the world. I never saw myself starting a charity. I mean, really, I'm the farthest personality in the world, if you get to know me, from being the founder of a charity. Not that I'm not a giving person, and that's not what I mean at all. I will give you everything I've got, 100% plus, till I'm losing out and broke and homeless and you've got everything, because that's my nature. But I'm also a caustic asshole. And if you're antagonistic or chauvinistic or misogynistic or racist or anything that I consider like a stain on a happy day like that, you know, you're probably not going to get the results you want from me, and you'll want to consult a doctor to see if talking to Sir Cork is right for you. But when it comes to You Are Hope, this is a labor of love, and I am filled with love. Everyone who knows me also knows that. Everything I do, love it or hate it, is two sides of the same coin. So this first episode is a little bit about me, because I'm the founder of this worldwide transparent charity that needs to be held accountable by all of its donors and delegators who provide us with the liquid steam and SBD and the steam power investing that we need to run our operation, provide the services that we do with our mission work with the Agents of Hope on the ground, to support our supporters with the steam power through upvoting of fundraiser posts that are being run by the various communities, and all the things that we do to make this machine run. So you have to trust me, the guy at the top, right? The guy over there on the top right that says founder on SteemStar Network and founder on You Are Hope. And I'm a Steam witness, so I'm accountable to you guys on like 1,000 levels, and I fail you on like 1,000,000. But I'm here to have this radio show every week to kind of throw my soul out on the desk, let you pick it apart, and then with that, carry on with the You Are Hope stuff and get on with business of charity around the world. It's 6:14 p.m. We're now at the quarter show mark on the first premiere episode of the You Are Hope Foundation Transparent Town Hall. I see Patrice, Sefik, and Sarge still with me. Taker U has just come in. Taker is actually a member of the You Are Hope Discord who is doing a lot of charity work on his own. And as I said before he got here, we don't just give money to strangers. It's not good to talk to strangers. But what we do is have a fostering community where we get to know them in various channels in our area called the Coalition of Causes, which has got the various country teams and specific cause teams for like kidney dialysis awareness run by CryptoPie, and the Nigerian channel run by Mr. Akpan and Samist and others. And we've got the Venezuelan channel run by Melis and Nathan. And we've got all these different channels. Well, Taker's in the Venezuelan channel. And is posting about his projects, and we're okay with that because they're helping people. That's what the purpose of our Discord is. It's not spam. It's not just link promotion junk. He's actually helping people. And we have discussions again amidst our moderators, and it just came up. Hi there, Juan Mi. I hope you're listening somewhere. If not, let's help him or her get into the listening channel, folks. When you see guests come in, if you don't mind, just giving them a little nudge our way. So Taker lives in the Philippines channel of the Coalition of Causes on the YouAreHOPE Discord, posting his post, interacting with other people. And I've talked with him a couple of times directly, both in the general channels and in private and DM. And I approve of his work. I don't know him very well yet. So, and at this point, I kind of do, and that's why I'm choosing him as an example. Yes, I am, Taker. I'm talking about you. I'm telling the story of how you kind of came in and we didn't really know who you were. And you saw us have a discussion, which you thanked me for, with the mods about who are these people dropping links? Are they okay? Are these links acceptable? And we had that chat right there in the channel so other people would learn the rules. And I vouched for you, and I said, Taker's okay. I've seen his work. He's doing good stuff. I'm getting to know him. He's probably a candidate to receive funding for a future mission in his area. So that's how we do it. Yes, thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. Hi, Katrina Ariel. Welcome. Yep, we're in the 24/7 listening room in the SteemStar Network Discord. There's links on the show post from Patrice and I, and on all of our show posts at SteemStar.net, most of my posts at Sir Cork, and many of the posts at YouAreHOPE. So it's how we do things as we get to know each other. It's a real social network charity. It's transparent in that every transaction and dime that we receive comes in through the blockchain. It's 100% based in Steem. No other cryptocurrency, no other fiat currency, with one exception I'll explain. The fiat currency comes into play in the last mile. When I send money to Venezuela via Steem to Steem transfer, user to user within our Steemit.com or Vessel wallets, we transfer Steem or SBD, and I'll send it to a Nigerian or a Venezuelan or a Filipino person. Filipino. And when they get that money, they have to transfer it into fiat currency to buy backpacks and pencils and crayons for school children, or toothpaste and toothbrushes for orphans at the orphanage, or plumbing supplies to fix the toilet at the orphanage, or shovels and mosquito net and malaria medicine for our most current mission in Ghana. So it's crazy, right? So they have to get the money. Well, in each country that looks different. So we do lose transparency. It's like static on the line or a break in the wire. From the moment that I hand the money to the agent of hope in the field, they take it, and in many cases it's difficult. It's not like here where we can just transfer it to Coinbase and flip it out to our bank. Go cash it out of an ATM and go to Walmart. In Venezuela, for Malos to get bread or the materials to make arepas, which is a cornmeal like tortilla or pita bread or hot pocket type of a food. You can eat it with your hands and you can carry it to the streets. When he goes to buy the supplies for that, here's how that looks. I send him, say, 10 Steem. 10 Steem, he'll go to a friend, he calls it, who will buy that Steem from him and give him fiat cash at roughly a 30% markup. So he pays a 30% transaction fee and loses 1/3 of our donation to turn $10 into $7. We know this. We acknowledge this. There's absolutely no other way for him to conveniently, at 18 years old in his city, get the money. So the man who sells him the money sells him the money at 30% because in Venezuela, the economic situation is so incredibly dire that if you go to an ATM, it's empty, it's off, and its machine is shut down. If you go to a bank, you have to wait in line for up to 4 and 5 hours at a bank teller window. When you finally get to the window, you are allowed to withdraw 15,000 units of money. And I always forget the word. It's the Venezuelan unit of money. If Nate or Melos was here, they would tell me in a flash because they know I always can't remember the word. Sarge, you probably know. And so the coin is 15,000. Let's call them dollars because everybody can think dollars here. They get $15,000 out of the bank, but a loaf of bread costs $20,000. Now, why is this the case? Because there's no paper money. When the money began to deteriorate in value, everyone began to hodl or hold it. So now they're stuffing mattresses with paper currency and it's not in circulation. So that Melos has to go buy his money to get paper money to go to a store to buy flour, cornmeal, and salt and, you know, some cheese and things to put into these little arepas. He has to go. Hi, D. Cardozo. Hey, D. Cardozo, are you listening to the stream right now? Yes, you are. What is the name of the money in Venezuela? What is like a dollar in Venezuela called? Bolívares fuerte. Yeah, Bolívares fuerte. So Bolívares. 15,000 Bolívares is what you can withdraw from a bank after waiting in line for 5 hours. You turn and go to the store and the loaf of bread is 20,000. So you are 25% short leaving the bank of being able to buy a loaf of bread in Venezuela right now. So getting the cash at the last mile is a big black hole in the transparency of this organization. So again, trust comes into play. One of the things about the blockchain is that everything that we do is transparent. As we get to know these people in the blog posts that they make and the comments that happen, we're able to sort of log our conversation, get to know them, see what they're doing, and track their activity. When we find someone who's charitable and doing the right things and we believe they're actually delivering and they're documenting with photographs of guys in Steema t-shirts digging a well with water spurting out of it and people shouting in joy behind them look starving to death, you know it's a legit project. They didn't go stage that, ridiculousness. So we support them. So when I met Melos, we started learning all these things about the currencies and all. And he explained to me that he would have to go offline to get the money, and there was no way to track that or even show receipts, even from, say, Coinbase or Bittrex. I got nervous. But we tried it, and it worked, and he came back, and the people are happy. And so we kept trepidatiously marching forward into this and doing more of it. And getting wider, and people would bring me people and vet them for me, people I trust and know well. And so now we've got a small group of people that are experienced at delivering these operations and these missions and reporting on the outcomes. And if you head over to the YouAreHOPE Discord and go into our YouAreHOPE-news channel, I've put every single post that I can catch, which is most of them, made by anyone raising funds or delivering services or using funds or promoting YouAreHOPE in any way to keep it transparent there as well, and a log and an archive of all the wins and successes across all the countries where we have literally touched hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. It's staggering. It's humbling. It's amazing. It's the Steem community at work. D. Cardozo is in Venezuela, and so I asked him right away. He knew Bolívares Fuerte. Thank you for that. How are you today, sir? We've just been talking about the plight in your country. Of course, you caught some of that when you got here. Anything you'd like to add? Do you want to join me in the show control booth and talk with me for a minute? Any one of you are welcome to. This is a town hall, right? Not a lecture. So like the Sunday show, all you have to do is bounce over here in the show control room with me. I'll unmute you, and we'll be able to have a conversation. I would love to hear from you, D. Cardozo, about the circumstances in Venezuela. We love your English. The circumstances in Venezuela and your experience on kind of a daily basis with people there. Just tell us about what's going on, man. Okay, he's getting his mic sorted out. Let's just make sure he's got a press to talk button and a volume is good. Can you hear me, D. Cardozo? So, D. Cardozo, go ahead and tell us about how conditions are in Venezuela and what it's like for you down there.
Hello, everybody, and thanks, Kirk, for the invitation to join to this conversation. Well, the situation here, in the economic way, everybody knows that it's a big problem for the Venezuelans to going through every day, trying to survive. And well, no one is safe to avoid this problem. First of all, because um, the hard thing that Venezuela is doing every day is to find any food to go and to be fine every day. So this is the first thing that we have to go through every day, finding any food that we need in the supermarkets, or for those people that we call it bachaqueros. The bachaqueros are people that buy before the food basic needs,
Black marketers.
and they save them and sell it in high prices.
Those are scalpers. Hold on, just let me jump in. D. Cardozo, let me jump in on you there. Those are in America, or in English, what he's talking about right now are scalpers. The people who, like, say, buy all the tickets for a concert and then sell them at a big markup. They're doing that with basic food, so that when you go to the store and try to buy bread, eggs, milk, butter, flour, cornmeal, it's been purchased in bulk by people with money who then make more money selling it back to you on the street.
Yeah, that's right, and that's what I try to mean about the scavengers. So they sell those basic needs or basic foods in so high prices. It's really hard to the Venezuelans that they don't have enough money to pay for, and that's really hard to us. So another thing that we have problem in an economic way, situation, or in the economic team, is the available of the fiat here, because an example is one Venezuelan like me, we might to get every day like 50 bolívares in fiat every day. So the banks only have to get to every Venezuelan only 10 bolívares fuertes every day, daily. So how we get 50 bolívares if the bank only get us only 10 bolívares? So it's really hard to us to get the fiat to pay the some transportation or any food that they need. They only want the fiat to pay, and it's really hard to go through every day. We have find food, we have to find fiat, we have to find medicine. That is another big problem here. So we must try to call and every friend, every neighbor, every way to find those needs, and well, that we have to do every day, and that's a big problem.
Yeah, so to really just summarize that, D. Cardozo, that's an amazing description of life down there. It's terrible. So what he said at one point was how many bolivars they earn. And Taker, you, who's there as well, and I should have realized that earlier, certainly come join us in this conversation, Taker, if you'd like to. Everyone is welcome to bounce over here into the control booth. That's just how you have to do to get on the air. But so what D. Cardozo is telling us is that people down there, in United States terms, for those of you that are Americans or maybe British and are used to the quick conversion that we know between, say, our mutual sort of Western currencies up here, is like 30 cents a day. 30 cents a day. So in a month, you're talking about $9 a month for a income. That's their job, pays them $9 USD a month. Now understand, this is in an environment where it's not economically equal. That doesn't mean that a new car is $97. Where we might make 1,000 and you can buy a car for 9,700. You can't go down there and make $9 a month and buy a car for $97. So it's still $9,700 for the car. In fact, it's $15,000 because they've marked it up because the scalpers bought all the cars, right? So it's this fucked up situation in Venezuela. There are other places. It's not the only place on earth in dire straits. There's Puerto Rico, which is hurricane ravaged in western Puerto Rico and destroyed. They have no agriculture. They have no food. They can't ship things in and out. They have fixed that now, but it was like that for a while. And then there's economic distress. There's weather-related crises and emergencies and storms and hurricanes and tornadoes and all of these things going on all over the world all the time. Of course, we know this. And we can't help everyone all the time. But what we can do is we can look at a situation like Venezuela where $9 a month is the monthly salary of a person. That today on Steam, by the way, what are we talking about? 3 Steam, D. Cardozo, for a month?
Sorry, I didn't hear you. What you were asking?
Wouldn't you say that the equivalent monthly salary of a typical Venezuelan professional working person, full-time, is about 3 Steam?
Well, the minimum wage right now for a typical work and a Venezuelan worker is like in Steam, it's like less than 1 Steam right now. Because this is the basic wage, monthly wage.
Yeah, we're talking monthly here, folks, not daily or hourly.
Yeah.
Monthly wage is around 1 Steam.
Yes, and for a professional, they might be like maximum of 2 Steam for those that got PhD title or kind of. That's what I'm talking about. Those that studied many years and have before working on the professionally way.
And Taker U is backing you up in chat, saying $1,000 worth of Steam might buy you a regular 2007 car. It's like 10 months without even eating. 1 SPD for a month for minimum wage. A doctor might make 3 SPD a month. So we're talking $10, $12 a month USD, folks. That's a monthly income in Venezuela right now, in a land where a loaf of bread costs more than you're allowed to withdraw from a bank after waiting in line for 4 to 5 hours, if there's bread at the store to purchase. So after Melos gets the money from me, purchases it on the gray market, and pays an exorbitant markup to buy paper cash, then he takes his bolivars and he goes to stores on the motorcycle or in the family truck. They do have vehicles, and their family is not in dire straits. That's why they're able to help others. His father's a carpenter. He makes some money. But they're very, they're on Steam. All 3 of them. His dad, his stepmom, and Melos are on here. They're making an income, but unbelievable income. He says he's never eaten better in his life until he found Steam and me and started this project and began to post and make some money. But when he posts and makes 2 or 3 SPD, he's making a month's income for an hour's post. And he doesn't extort that. He doesn't rape that. He's a great, great kid. I love him. Wish he was here right now. But they go and they look for the food. They try to buy the cornmeal and the sugar and the salt and things they need to make the food in their home, 200 arepas at a time. And it's hard for them to source the food. It's hard for them to find stores that have the food. So, Di Cardozo, when you go to the store, how easy is it for you to get bread, milk, eggs, sugar, the fundamental foods? You said the scalpers take it, but are the stores manufacturing more? Are factories, and does it keep replenishing? I don't understand quite how that works. So food comes to the store, it gets immediately purchased by the scalpers. How do you ever get food? You just pay the scalpers.
Well, daily the scalpers is in trying to buy how many food that they can. So they can sell it, or sell it, and also to keep the family uh, with their food, But every day it's not easy to get those basic needs or basic food. For example, Venezuela needs like 2 hours in a queue, the market queue, to get one milk or two milks, And think about this to get almost or minimal like 10 minimum needs, food needs, For example, 2 hours in a queue in a bakery to get a bread, then 2 hours that we need to in the queue in a market to get a milk or eggs or cornmeal or any needs, any food needs we need that we have to find every day. That we only need like 8 hours daily in a queue in a market queue to get those the foods. So the problem is not the food is not producing. The problem is the distribution of the food in the markets, because those companies they are trying to keep producing those food, but the distribution of it is kind of expensive for them because the government they trying to it's mandatory that they have to keep the 30% of gains on the of the production, So if the company needs more than 30% of gain, they cannot, because the government is not allowed to do that the distribution of the gains, So that is a huge problem, because as the theory of the bid and asking, if the people is buying so much, the company needs to get a little high the prices.
They'll raise the prices.
But,
yeah.
Yeah, and so if the government cannot allow that theory, the company seems forced to reduce the production.
I got it. I hear you. So what you're saying is that the problem is not in the production, it's in the distribution, but then because of the way the country is economically poised right now, and I'm reading along with Taker in the chat to put all this together. So what I'm hearing is the factories can make the stuff, the stores can sell the stuff, except the government has fixed the prices of the factories and forced them to set pricing that the scalpers can afford to purchase all of the material, but the people can't afford to purchase any of the material. So you get screwed in the distribution imbalance that occurs. Now, Taker has this point to say: the only real way to buy is in large amounts, like 50 kilograms of sugar or rice or flour. It's still oversold, meaning higher priced, but the same scavengers buy. But if they don't buy it in the bulk, they buy it in the prepackaged things they can resell, so it's easier to buy it in bulk. And then it's all militarized, and the military is over. I've seen pictures, and there's guys with M16s, at the grocery store, right? And it's there to stop them getting robbed like banks, and also to control riots and food runs and all of that sort of stuff. So there's military at the fucking grocery store. And so it's bad. It's really bad, you guys. And so I'm so glad D. Cardozo was here to give us a first-hand account. D. Cardozo, two things. Oh, I want to say one other thing about buying in bulk. If you pay attention to our YouAreHOPE news, you know that last week Malos and his father and his stepmother, they did some corrective plumbing at an orphanage, and they also, to fix some toilets, they brought hygiene equipment, but they brought 220 kilograms of food, and they have pictures on the news article of them at the orphanage with their Steam It t-shirts on, and the children and the food. It's all legit. It's how I know I'm paying for services that get delivered with your donations. But what's amazing is that he was able to get the 225 kilograms of food. And of course, he had to transfer his money out at 30%, pay an exorbitant price to get the food that was highly overpriced, and deliver it to these children. But it's also the most food these children have had in years. Thanks, D. Cardozo. Did you want to add anything to the topic while we're on Venezuela, or Taker? If you want to join us in here, man, feel free. Any of you are welcome to come in here and take the microphone in the town hall and talk about it, but it's matters that are related to YouAreHOPE only on this show.
Yeah, thanks, Silva, for the invitation. So for everybody that might to know about the Venezuelan situation, just don't see what on TV or only TV is happening, because there's more happening inside of Venezuela, and every need that you want, or any help that you want to bring to the Venezuela, there's YouAreHOPE, that is a great group that supporting the Venezuelans, and also the country that needs help. And there's Malos 10, that he's a great guy, and he's trying every day to help the Venezuelans. And well, then thanks again.
Awesome to have you. Thank you, Sarge. You've joined us in the show control booth. We've been talking with D. Cardozo, 25, Venezuelan resident, a smart guy, popular on the platform. I see him in a lot of communities. Very intelligent writer. Go check out his blog and follow him. Thank you for what you're doing for people down there wherever you can, D. Cardozo. It's been good getting to know you over the past month or two. And Sarge, here you are. You're muted on your side, sir, because I do not have you muted on this side. So feel free to unmute if you have some things you would like to add to the topic of Venezuela, or to the transparency of YouAreHOPE, or to my background as the founder, Melo's background as the co-founder. He's not with us, but we'll get him in here next week. Sarge, you want to unmute, bud? Uh-oh, he's typing. Had to do his sound settings, so he's getting ready. Any of the rest of you, hi, Fishy Culture, our Thankful Thursday publishing poster, who is a member of the YouAreHOPE team in the audience. Juan Me96, welcome. Katrina Ariel, hi. Thanks for that great post about the Friday night parties on SteemStar. And I'll take your idea into account. We'll definitely get some New Orleans-style music on that show. Fishy, let me get you the right role, kid. And you're the first time in this server. Katrina asks, Patrice, hi, you're on next in just 18 minutes, Patrice, with Trash Talk. I hope you're ready. Sapphic, hi, good to see you. It was fun joking with you earlier. Steve McRaven, 29, good to see you. Greg Taker, you helping out with some information about Venezuela. Also in Venezuela, both of you guys want to put your blog links into the chat message, Taker and D. Cardozo. That'd be great, because then we can go over there, and I bet you at least one or two people in this room have a monthly salary upvote for you coming your way. And we can support you supporting your peers and neighbors down there in, oh my God, just tragic conditions in Venezuela. So with that said, we're looking at Sarge, who's now unmuted. It's Mr. Sarge on the block here. Dan, how are you?
I'm well. I hope y'all are. I'm not too loud, am I? If not, hit that right button on my little avatar there and turn me down, because I'm at half thing, but I got a big mouth.
Turn him down like all his high school dates did, right there.
Yeah, they like my looks. But
all right, Sarge, what's on your mind, bud?
I asked it in text, but there was a lot of people going through, and you probably didn't catch it. But I'm getting a little more involved in this curating thing. I've received some unsolicited delegation, so I'm going to get into the curating business. Mostly focused, for those that don't know, I'm white bread, but my foster parents were Puerto Rican, and I have a special place in my heart for the Hispanic people. Specifically Puerto Ricans, Boricua, we say. But the question I had was since I'm getting involved in this, and I did something I shouldn't have done. I do stuff without thinking first. I was over at MSP Waves curation show they had, and they had featured a post about somebody that was doing down in Nigeria, I believe. It was buying pencils and everything else, and I had referred them to YouAreHOPE. I didn't refer them to you personally. But the question I asked, and I did a Ask Steam search and everything, I was looking for a post that would list people specifically that you mentioned when you were talking earlier about people that kind of have sort of like oversights in different areas in Nigeria and this and that. It's very, very sad, but there are people that will try to scam charities. I know I've had my experience with wounded warriors and everything else. You know, I mean, how people can do that, I'll tell you, I got to laugh because otherwise I'm ready to break something. But, if there were like a list of contacts for certain areas, and then if there were a curator that saw, like an awesome post about, somebody put up a bunch of pictures and everything else, and they weren't involved with YouAreHOPE and stuff, and maybe they were in Puerto Rico, maybe they were in Nigeria, maybe they was in Iran or Yemen or Syria or Venezuela. If there was like a list of people, instead of me just sending them to YouAreHOPE, that I could kind of refer them, kind of put a bug in their ear and say, I was seeing this. Could you check this out and see if it's legit? Because, Sir Cork, I know you're so busy with, the SteemStar network, with a charity, with your own business, and, so much of your time that you spend. I know that you've delegated out authority to people to do this. I mean, great if there were a list.
Not enough yet, Sarge, to be honest with you, but I'm working on that. It's not because I'm a control freak. Anybody who, you just mentioned MSP Waves. I built MSP Waves by myself. It's still standing there running without me because I picked like 7 people that were fantastic resources to be the engineering and the audio, trainers for the new DJs and all the things that they are necessary to run a station like this. So I'm getting SteemStar because it's fun, gets a lot of attention, and I've gotten some resources to help me run that, which is now freeing me up to focus on things like producing this show, the Transparent Town Hall, and to worry about staffing up a little bit better in YouAreHOPE. But it's tricky because it's all volunteer, and in SteemStar, I can tell a show host, hey, yeah, make a post that your show's coming on, post your replay, you'll make some money on those posts. But I can't tell a YouAreHOPE person what to do. I can't say, hey, make a post, if you make money on that post, you should donate it. I don't want to tell them that, and I don't necessarily want to say keep it. That feels a little weird too. So I'm like, it's a little harder to tell a volunteer, hey, come over and work for ya. You'll probably make posts about it. You'll have to have this whole internal struggle of what to do with the income from the posts. Keep it because it's good, or donate it, or split it, or what. That's kind of your personal decision as a volunteer. It's not for me to tell you what to do. But here's the things we need to achieve. And then there's the problem of the vetting. It's like, so I can bring in volunteers and say, go find me people right now. I'd love to find some people in Haiti that I can help. Because I know Haiti's trashed too all the time, But I don't see any Haiti Steemians, and so I got to go find some. But I can't necessarily trust a person I barely know to go find a person they barely know to give 100 Steam to. So it's tricky, Sarge.
No, I mean, I know what you're saying, man. I'm an old Marine Corps staff sergeant. I spent 21 years in uniform. And there's an old saying, you can delegate authority, but you can't delegate responsibility. When everything goes right, you give credit to your people. When everything goes wrong, you stand alone. But, what I was asking is, if there is, a list of who you have right now that you trust, and I mean, when you delegate authority, that's who you delegate it to, is people you trust. Sometimes you get screwed over, sometimes you don't, Hey, life's a gamble, but you got to delegate, and you know that, and you're doing that. But I was just asking if you have right now some people, and I think you mentioned earlier that you do have some people that do a little bit of oversight, so that I would not, like I did with this one person on this post, and it was great. It was a great post, what they were doing and everything else. They didn't know who you were. They didn't know who YouAreHOPE is. They were saying, how great Steam was and everything. And without thinking, knee-jerk reaction, I said, well, if you contacted YouAreHOPE, and, I just said, at YouAreHOPE,
I've seen that a couple places. People do that. They send people to me, and that's cool.
Right. So I was wondering if you do have trusted people right now, and I know they're volunteers and everything. I don't want to put a load on people, but I definitely don't want to put a load on you. You got, like Dan Larimer, you got 150 pans in the fire. That's what idea people do.
Over. They're all bubbling over. Yeah, I'm definitely
that's what
jamming.
The idea people do, and that's how they are, and that's just how they are. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Takes all kind of people to make a rainbow.
It does. So you're saying, do we have people to send people like a front line customer support kind of a line?
Well, like I'm saying, I did an Ask Steam search. I did. You used a phrase, and I took that phrase and I put it into Ask Steam, but I didn't come up with nothing. I scrolled down. I even Googled it, and I didn't find anything.
I make shit up. What did I say?
Hell, I can't remember now. I can't remember what happened 2 minutes ago. I have a very short attention span. But what I'm asking is if you had like the short list of people that volunteers that you trust, that you have delegated authority to kind of be the vetters. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some vetters in Nigeria, if something is legit.
So
some vetters in Philippines and Puerto Rico.
Here's how that's kind of working right now. Okay, so as I've met people myself and taken them in, we've developed quite a few people that are part of the team. And those people are empowered to kind of frontline like that. But I want to add that Sarge, you, for example, somebody I've known a while now and talked to at great length, or Patrice, or, if Battle Axe, or some of the other names that that I know, if they come around and they're like, this is a potential person you should be looking at, I've been watching their posts, then I'm going to pay attention to that because I know and trust you. So it doesn't necessarily have to be officially a role of a person in our organization that has the hat that says greeter, I'm welcome, I'm Corky. It's just my network.
Right. But what I'm saying, if there were a list that was kind of distributed out to people and say, if you come across something and, even from just the first post, you ain't even watching for a while and you think, damn, this is good.
Yeah,
con artists are fucking good.
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
what I mean?
Yeah, that's tricky.
So,
and the thing, Sarge, is what I've tried to do so far because we've had limited funds. And I'm cutting you off because we're going to run out of time in a minute or two. But we have, and you're asking the right stuff. This is what the show's for. Like, oh shit, I get to answer the real questions I meant to talk about. Thank you. The money. So we talked about the black hole, and I never finished that thought once we went into T. Cardozo. So let's bring this back around, right, to the people and how we find the projects, pick them, give the money out, and get it back. Once the money goes in the black hole in Venezuela, it's spent, it's delivered in the form of pictorial or video and audio and video and pictures and posts and proof, which is got to be pretty undeniable. I asked the people that I give donations to produce some pretty irrefutable proof or they're never going to get a dime from me again. And I'm pretty hard about it because it's the transparency is at stake. So they do it because they're thrilled because they get to make a giant post. And generally, I definitely let the agents in the field keep their post rewards. So we don't ask that they turn it in or something. So, these people are facilitating what a lesson that Melos taught me, which is be strong to be useful. And this is where I get back to Sarge. Okay. So in finishing the money loop, it comes in from donors, it goes out to agents, agents transfer it to local fiat, they do their business, they take a big hit doing that in most of these economically ravaged places. They then deliver the evidence of the delivery back to the blockchain. It's permanently secured for everyone to scrutinize. The blockchain wallets are all there for the transfers. When we get done, then it comes down to finding the next project, Sarge's question. So far to date, the balance of donors to project has been such that we've been able to find things we can do with 20 SBD, 50 SBD, 100 SBD. We haven't ever made it to 1,000 SBD donor yet. That's a goal. We haven't made it to a 500 SBD or Steem donor yet. That's a goal. We have had some $100 ones once or twice. So, and those were usually communal efforts like by the Alliance or In the Know and his former charity that he shut down and donated all of the funds to us. So when these things happen, we look for opportunities, Sarge, but the whole idea that people are bringing things to us, trust me, there's so much travesty in the world, so much tragic circumstances to choose from that we honestly don't have to look very hard to find it. So finding the opportunities on Steem is as simple as watching the feed for about 5 minutes. Choosing the ones to apply 10 SBD to reach 100 orphans instead of one single mom. No offense to single moms. But there are people that'll help her, and then there's people that'll help the orphans. We have to try and distribute all this, right? So I try to balance it by the biggest need for the biggest bang for the smallest buck. So we have seemed to, this is a weird twist of words, but we seem to have struck a vein or struck some kind of niche. I don't know what to call it that's not in any way negatively construable because it's not supposed to be, but like orphans. Suddenly, because we helped in one orphanage, another one came onto my radar. And I vetted it, and it was legit, and we did the work. It's like all of a sudden it's orphanages and schools. So we're dealing a lot with children right now. School supplies, hygiene supplies, food, shoes, clothes. Repairs to orphanage buildings. But prior to that, it was homeless people and sick and dying people. And prior to that, it was Western Puerto Rico and its hurricane-ravaged stuff. So, Sarge, as I move from event to event, I go, okay, what's the landscape look like? Here's a person who's been laid off from work, a family of 4 with 6 kids, or what? No, family of, that'd be a lot of 6, 8 people, whatever. Math, hard. A big family, the guy got laid off from work, they have no income, but they're in a country where there's a church next door that has food banks, and there's people in their neighborhood that'll help them, and they have internet connections and cars. They're not going to get as much of my attention as 75 orphans that I can equip with toothpaste and food for a month. And I don't mean to be harsh or critical of anyone's plight. I've been homeless. I've been in jail. I've been arrested. I've been on drugs. I've been off them. I've been rich. I've been poor. I've had a fucked up 49 years. That's how you become the founder of a damn worldwide charity. You owe it back to the world. But in that time, what I learned was that in America, you're never going to starve. And 1 SBD is a month of minimum wage income in Venezuela. So I don't feel like I'm taking anything too much out of the reward pool to go feed those orphans 222 kilograms of food with Melos. Right now we are at 6:58 p.m. You've been listening to the YouAreHOPE Foundation Transparent Town Hall. I appreciate the attendees who've joined me on the air, Sarge and D. Cardozo. Patrice, you've jumped into the show control booth, but I think that's because you're about ready to go on the air with Trash Talk, which is going to be about steam cleaners and Spaminator and Patrice's witness position on things and her opportunity to talk to the community about project stuff like this. And right before me was Nevarez with the Inquisition in Spanish for our Spanish community. He has his own Discord called Revor. We can hunt that down for you and get you in there, D. Cardozo, and take our UR members. Thanks for attending Fishy Culture, our journalist in the field for YouAreHOPE, Juan Me 96. We didn't get a chance to talk to you. I'd like to soon. Katrina Ariel, always good to see you. Lena DR, Sapphic, Taker, Top K-Pop, one of our show hosts here, and Lena, one of our show hosts here as well. Lena on Sunday nights with the Cabinet of Curiosities, following the Votu Voices of the Underground with Beans, and me on the Steamitizens of Steam show on Sunday mornings, where we do this with a little more wide spectrum topic format, but I'll talk to anyone about anything on Sundays. And then Top K-Pop on Friday nights with the All Play Friday show, which leads into the Pirate Steam Starship show with yours truly again, Sir Cork, for his third show of the week, but the one he enjoys probably the most. That's me talking in the third person about myself. Your king of pirate ships, taking trips into popular music and good times. We gave away a bunch of money, didn't we, Top K? Yes, we did. Come back and see us Friday night. We'll have a blast. In the meantime, in between time,